I really wanted that thing. I just want to sing. I love you, baby. Won't you bring all the flowers you find out in the garden? Don't tell me the truth that your heart has hardened, but you don't want me anymore. How can it be? Look what you've done to me. Oh.
We ready?
Yeah, we're ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready to rock this. You just point to me when you hit record.
I thought I'm already
You
recording.
already hit record?
Yeah.
You're supposed to point to me, Snacks! Oh, thank you. You pointed to me. Wonderful.
Okay.
Hey, welcome back to 42 Strange!
Hi.
The voice you're hearing right now, hopefully, unless you're in the future, because you're that high, is Surfer Dan. Hello. How's
Wait,
everybody doing today?
Why wouldn't they hear you, though, if they were
I don't
in the
know.
future?
I don't know the logic behind it. I'm very high. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, the genius pipe is going around, so they're gonna. Unfortunately, let me get to some business real quick before I do the introductions. I do have to say that Rue is not joining us this evening.
Womp
And Double A is not joining us this evening.
womp. Double womp womp.
And we have not had Peaches on in a while, so those are the MIA at the moment. So
But-
pour one out for them.
Goodness, Peaches just got a house.
Ron!
I heard that Peaches just got a house.
Peaches just got a house.
That's impressive and frightening.
A little bit.
But enough of the MIA. Smoke one for them, and then also smoke one for the rest of your hosts. Because to my left is the one and only Chucky D, Chuck Dante.
Well, hello.
How the hell are you today?
I'm doing fantastic, Surfer Dan. Thank you very much.
Awesome. To his left is the beautiful, the talented Snacky Snacks. Snack, how are
Oh
you?
my god, is that like... Well, first of all, hi. Is that like how Mark Wahlberg was Marky Mark at one point?
If you're Snacky Snacks,
Did I hit that face?
you are now Snacky Snacks.
I'm Snacky Snacks.
You now must find your Yummy Bunch.
Oh my
So,
god.
Snacky Snacks and the Yummy Bunch. Peaches would want to join that, I think.
I feel like I should make that a new show.
You really should.
It's like we
You
can
really
get like
should.
really, really
Did you
high.
say a nude show?
Yes, a nude
A new show.
Oh,
A new show.
A nude show,
Where
yeah.
Surfer Dan, you and I could like get really
Nude.
really high and watch a bunch of conspiracy theories.
I think we were already planning on doing that, but are we calling it Snacky Snacks and the Yummy Bunch?
I mean,
I didn't know that was the title.
it's still in the works.
Okay. I might have a vote on that.
You might.
We have two amazing guests because since we didn't have a lot of our original hosts, we were like, you know what, screw them, we don't need them, we can keep going, we just need to bring cool people in. So we brought two amazingly cool people in. Let's introduce first Gus. Gus, say hello.
Hi.
How
Hi, Gus.
are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
You're about to take a hit. That's what. Somehow I'm like a waiter asking you if your food is okay. You have your mouth full just when I'm about to talk to you. So, how are you?
Great.
Good.
How are
I'm glad you joined us, and you brought some of the weed that we're smoking tonight,
She
right?
brought a lot of weed.
We're smoking some of your what was it, ice cream cake?
Ice cream cake is about to be going around in 1 moment.
Wonderful! I can't wait to try that. We're not doing a review show today.
No
We'll
review.
We'll explain what we're doing here in a second. I need to introduce
There's
our other guest.
no review.
Tiger Rose! Tiger! How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Do you have something in your eye?
No, I don't.
No? Okay, I was just checking.
No,
No.
there's nothing in her eye. That's just Tiger with a Y.
Ah,
Oh my God. I was waiting for it.
he's a poet. It's amazing. Yes, it's
Yes.
spelled Tygerrose. Look at me, stoned and spelling.
Still spelling.
My fourth grade teacher would be super excited. Are you okay, Chucky D?
That is just some amazing weed.
Oh, sorry. He
That is some
he literally looked
amazing-
like he had both an explosive erection and a stroke at the same time, folks, when he handed me this bong. So I'm supposed to try ice cream cake. This is
Ice
Gus
cream
Dustin's ice
cake.
cream cake. That is, you guys can talk amongst yourselves while I'm doing it.
It's from Oregon.
It's from
Stacks,
Oregon.
introduce the song we just heard while I'm taking this in.
You asked the blind ass bitch to do this.
Oh, come on!
All right,
It's
guys.
Mira?
The mirror. Oh,
So the song you just heard was "The Garden" by Mira, or is it Mira by the Garden?
To be honest, I don't know. It's
I'm-
Myra or something. That's the person's name. The Garden is the song.
The song is The Garden.
We'll put a link up to the song we're talking about because wow, we fucked
This
that
song is
up.
cool, but we have no fucking idea what we're talking about.
But
Right now.
yeah.
Really awesome song.
It's a really
good.
awesome song, guys.
So
Listen to it.
we are not doing a review, like I said. We're not doing a strain review today because a lot of our original hosts were out. So we figured that we were going to just have a nice discussion around the circle today to give you some more content because we love our listeners.
Yes, we do.
We adore them. What's the matter? Are you okay? Sorry. It's purple cookies. We've been smoking purple cookies out of the Genius Pipe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. So that's what's been going around that way. So to give you the shout outs, we had Lemon Tree earlier that Tiger Rose brought us. So sorry, Tiger with a Y, Rose.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If you don't do it, Chuck, I will.
Right? Okay.
So Snacks, you brought us a topic.
Yeah, I did.
That we were shooting these topic ideas back and forth for you listeners, and
Yes, I
this
did.
idea came to Snacks, and would you like to share it?
Yes.
While I take the hit of the purple cookies off the Genius Pipe?
Absolutely. So instead of a strain review like we usually do here at 42 Strains, I know every now and again we treat you guys to a little topic/open forum episode. So you're lucky enough to have this episode to be weed and pop culture.
What?
They're lucky enough, like they're honored to be listening. To
Look,
us.
they're riding through with us.
Yeah.
I appreciate anyone that's still listening.
I love our ride or dies.
Considering
Thanks for
how
being here.
weird we are with releasing episodes, we're trying to do better, guys.
Yeah, let us be better in 2019. We're trying to be best.
New year, new me.
Oh no, there's a movie about. Sorry, we are talking pop culture. First, before we get into the pop culture, let's ask our guests a couple of the standard questions we ask new people on the show.
How big is your penis? I'm sorry.
No, that's the
How
standard questions you ask.
How deep is
after
your
the
well?
show.
How
deep is your
well?
love?
Oh, love,
deep is
love,
your
love.
love? How deep is your... Sorry. Again, I was about to look right at Gus and go ask a question, and you're taking a hit. How am I doing that? Was I a waiter?
More of a clerk.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So, Gus, would you be willing to share your age range for us?
Yeah, I'm anywhere in between 1 and 25.
Perfect. I love that. How long in your life on this planet have you been a stoner? Are you okay? Hold on. Tiger Rose is dying over here. We have one rule.
How
Don't
the fuck
die.
did that get all the way to Surfer Dan without me hitting it? I handed it to him.
Because
I screwed up rotation
Handed
then.
it back.
Damn it, Snacks!
It's like
You have one
no.
job.
When did that I thought we were going this way. God damn.
One pipe was going out.
We're going
One
like
bog
this.
was going the other way. And I'm going this way.
You know what? At this point, I'm just happy when I don't break bongs. I've done that.
You're happy when you don't break bongs, too.
I haven't broken any of your bongs, sir.
No, you've never broken one of my bongs.
Never.
I broke my nectar collector, but oh well. Rest in peace, Kermie. Let's, how long in your life on this planet have you been a smoker?
A year?
A year. So you're fairly new.
Yeah.
Terrific. What got you into this?
It's not like a interesting story, but I have like really bad insomnia, and I would take like Benadryl, and I had a boyfriend who was like, "No, do this instead."
And it worked.
Yeah.
That it's not all of our listeners smoke for their own reasons. They smoke for we promote very much. We love medical marijuana. We try to answer as many questions as we can on the show with that. So the fact that you are coming in with a obvious symptom, insomnia, and you use this medicine and it has cured that symptom. Do you find your insomnia coming back still?
Yes and no. I would say sometimes I don't smoke and then I stay up for hours.
Gotcha.
And then sometimes I decide not to smoke because I want to be up for hours.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, indica or sativa helps you?
I like hybrids.
Oh, wonderful. Do you have a strain that you feel works best for your insomnia?
Gelato.
Gelato.
Really works for me. I like the Corova brand, but something happened with their recently. You can't find it anywhere. Thanks.
Hail Sneezer, Chuck Dante.
That was good.
I think you served for Dan. You were
So
saying
gelato
Corona,
is what's working for your insomnia.
Yeah, I really like that.
Terrific.
Do you remember what the first strain you smoked for your insomnia was? Like, what was your first test drive?
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh, that was a strain called weed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the strain called weed.
It's a special strain.
I like to ask because I think I remember what my first strain was.
I don't recall the first what
I do
what,
now
what
because
it was
it was the
that I
only weed
smoked.
they could afford at that time.
No, because it was handed to me on a beach. I can't tell you what it was.
Sour diesel.
Was it sour D?
Sour
You
diesel.
cocksucker.
That's
For
why,
me, it was probably lemon kush, and I can't stand lemon kush.
That's why when I told you when I first met you that was one of my
all-time favorites.
My favorites.
And
And
I
my
said,
top
fuck
5,
you.
and you were like,
Yeah, fuck you. I hate
"It's
you.
awful.
It's terrible. Yeah,
It-
get better taste.
It's like
I believe I told you
gasoline."
get better taste.
You did.
Yeah,
You did. And then I said cherry pie, and you forgave me.
I did. And then we made out later, so I was fine. Tiger Rose.
That's what you
Tiger
call it.
Rose, how are you?
I'm good.
Can you give us your age range? You got to talk a little louder than that. You're talking down and quiet.
I am 40 years old.
Wonderful. And how long have you been a smoker?
Since I was about 20, I guess 20?
Okay, so for 2 decades.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Half your life you've
Half
been
my life.
smoking.
So what do you remember? What so you're an oldie like me, not quite, but up there. So hey there.
Now, real
Right?
quick, she said she was 40. We know Surfer Dan is at least 400.
Yeah, that's true.
At
Yeah.
least.
Yeah.
400.
We've determined
But
that.
he's still got some pep in his step.
Hey.
He's never denied anything about his pep stepping.
No, nobody's ever.
Never.
Is Pep Steppers like the next album we drop?
Nope. Here come the Pep Stepper. Do you recall what got you into smoking? What was the first reason why?
I was irritated at the person I was with at the time, and my father-in-law, my ex-father-in-law, had passed me a joint and told me to smoke it to calm down.
Okay, so you had a stressful situation,
Yes, very
and then
stressful.
this was a way to de-stress yourself with it.
So tell me something, Tiger with a Y. Did that work your first time?
Oh, I was just thinking the same thing.
When they handed that to you and you took those little hits and he said, "This will make it all better."
Did it?
Did it?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Oh, you felt something.
I feel something.
Well, because I was irritated, so it was something I've never tried before. I have no idea what the strain was or anything.
It was weed.
It was just
It was a special strain called weed.
weed. And I kind of got the creepy crawlies. But I honestly believe it's because I was not in the right mind frame. I tried it again, a couple weeks later.
Yeah.
So you were not
It was
deterred.
good. No, I was not deterred.
You waited a whole 2 weeks, so.
I did wait a whole 2 weeks.
All right.
Been smoking on and off ever since.
All right. So Snacks brought the topic. Thank you both, Gus and Tiger. Tiger Rose, before I move on, thank you very much for deciding to be here with us on 42 Strains.
Yeah.
For our listeners, any of you that would ever want to be on an episode of 42 Strains, all you need to do is write us at the number 42 strains at toke.com. I'm not kidding you. Type the number 4, type the number 2, type out the word strains, the @ symbol, TOKE, it's a real email address.com, and you write us and say, hey, I'd like to be on the show, and we'd meet up with you. We'd like to smoke with you. I mean, fuck. Just write us. I want to open the email and find something, guys.
Or what
Make
you
me
could also
sad.
do, if you don't want to find your, if you don't want to actually type out the email that you apparently don't think exists, you could.
It's a real email.
It's fucking real, guys. Come on. It's a real email, but if you don't want to email us, you can send us some messages on Twitter because
You do.
all of your hosts here at 42 Strains are on Twitter.
You can find us, find Surfer Dan at the number 42 strains, find AA1242, find at Blazing Roots, find at Squeaky_Peach, at Snack Queen 21,
Ooh, and
at I Heart Shuckabee, and did I miss anybody?
no, you got
You
everything.
got
Hey!
Way to
I
go,
win a
Surfer
prize! Sometimes I like to test the old guy to see if not only while stoned and very old, he can remember all the information he's supposed to give out. Yes. Aw. Thank
Do
you.
you want a prize?
Yeah, I want a prize.
But yeah, guys, we want to get awesome emails, and you can ask us questions.
Yeah. Don't type me at Surfer Dan, though. That guy's still pooping.
Yes.
And,
yes.
Ladies, Chuck D is single.
Oh!
Oh.
Oh, we should auction off a date with a stoner.
Oh,
Slide
God.
into those DMs.
Slide into the
No,
DMs.
he'll slide into your DMs. So send us questions, comments, strange suggestions for further reviews, topics you might want to hear, and this conspiracy thing that Snack Queen and I are going to be working on. Give us name suggestions for the show so I don't have to be part of the Yummy Bunch. And possibly conspiracy ideas for us to go over.
Yes.
Back to the topic at hand, which is only, 25 minutes late? I don't even know the timer. You're the one looking
I
at
don't
it.
even know what the day of the week is.
who
Oh, we've
knows
only been talking
anymore?
for like 15 minutes.
Wonderful. And there's some weird shit in there that we could edit out.
I'm stoned.
Oh, yeah,
we
we've been
are
talking
stoned.
for about 14 minutes.
Yeah, so pop culture. Let me ask you guys a question. This is for anybody who wants to answer first. What's your first recollection of watching a movie, TV show, cartoon, whatever, and a character was stoned? Like you recognized that
As
you
them being
knew
stoned?
they were something. You might not have known that they were smoking marijuana, but you knew that they were not normal, as like they were acting normal.
I can't remember his name,
Okay.
but he lived in the van outside the house in the old TV
That's
series Step by Step.
Oh my God! The brother.
The brother.
This obviously
Exactly.
stoner skater brother from Step by Step. You're going old school.
That's
I love
the one
you.
I can first remember from being a wee little
Yeah,
Dante.
I need to.
A wee little Dante
Yes.
crawling up under his Power Rangers and his Barney the
Oh,
dinosaur.
you're adorable. I love you. I would have babysat you.
And Full House and Step by Step slide in there
Oh, Full House. You watching Fuller House now?
too. Yes.
I got a thing for Stephanie. What can I say?
Oh.
Jodie Sweetin? Oh, Jodie
After she
Sweetin.
cleaned up, she got hot.
I know, right? You see what happens when you stop doing meth? It's amazing. Not meth. Meth is not amazing. Not even once. Don't do it. We do not say.
Please don't. We do not.
Meth.
Please.
Here at 42 Straights do
Yes.
not condone
We do not
methamphetamine
condone
use
meth of any kind.
of any kind. Please don't.
Go ahead and look up those old PSA commercials for anti-meth. They're wonderful. There's this whole one of a lady singing a song.
Was his
about how
name
she got-
Cody? Cody Lambert?
Yeah.
Cody. Yeah, he was obviously stoned. You're
There's a-
right.
There's a whole
No, I got you.
wonderful PSA commercial involves a nice song and dance about a girl having the cleanest house on the street because she did meth.
Because she did meth.
That's a hilarious commercial.
What's the first time anybody else that you recall somebody was obviously different than everybody else?
Oh, I mean, it's not really that. I was watching. They were reruns at this point, so like it didn't click for me because I was raised pretty, innocent, straight by the book.
Pretty,
and
you know? Yeah,
yeah.
pretty, you know. That's a good way of putting it. I think it's going this way.
I don't know where it's going at this point.
Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
It's good
My
shit.
family was super into 24, with Kiefer Sutherland.
Kiefer,
With
yeah.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah.
And
A guy so stoned he named himself Kiefer.
yeah. But
That's
I
not
think
a
like
real
in the
name.
very first season, within a couple episodes, there was an actress that played Kiefer Sutherland's daughter. Jack Bauer's daughter, and she goes out with her friends. Her
I
friend
wish
on
we had
like, a
an
night
intern
out.
looking shit up for us. What
Right.
the hell, man?
Oh yeah.
No, I'll do it. No, it's fine. Just go ahead and keep talking.
The lead's daughter that like worked for like an anti-terrorism
Jack
section
Bauer's
of
daughter,
the
right?
government. Yeah,
It's Jack Bauer's
24.
I don't know. Yeah, I know. I've
Oh.
never seen 24.
Oh, you've never seen 24.
I haven't. It's a show that went off of my brain. But I'm looking. Just keep talking
But
about
yeah,
what you remember seeing.
her and her friend met up with these two guys, and at this point, like, drug use was not even on my radar.
Kim Bauer?
Kim Bauer, yes.
That's Elijah Cuthbert.
Hot.
Aw.
Hot.
But yeah, they meet these super, hot guys, but they're a little off. And then they go into like this super like, stereotypical no windows, white blank van, and they smoke a bunch of weed.
Aw.
And then they
Rest in
immediately
peace to the Surfer
transition
Danmobile.
from weed into heroin, like immediately back to back.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was a wild ride. 24 itself, the show, is a wild ride.
All right.
But that was the first moment that I like saw.
You were like,
Like-
they were impaired.
Yes, I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
I thought that the first time I just saw French Stewart in general.
I think French Stewart is always impaired.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I love French Stewart. I'm
Like
excited
Third
when
Rock
I
from
see
the Sun?
Yeah.
I was just like, you're baked.
Yeah, all the time. Gus or Tiger Rose, you guys, what was the first time that you recall seeing somebody on TV, movie, being impaired? You might not have known, oh, they're stoned, but you obviously were like, they're different than everyone else.
I think like cartoons. I want to say like called
Okay. Give us details. We can figure things out.
Yeah, like what
like
was
Bugs
the context?
Bunny and
Looney Tunes?
The
Yeah,
Looney Tunes?
yeah.
Okay.
I want to say like they would there would be like smoke and then they'd be like like makes
Old
sense?
Looney Tune cartoons.
No,
where
there were
jumping,
old
yeah.
Looney Tune cartoons that were these jazz cats that Sylvester would end up running into in several cartoons.
I remember
What?
more than a handful
Yes.
of those. Oh, yeah.
I didn't
That-
watch Looney Tunes.
That these cats would be hanging out in the alley and there'd be smoke. Now you would see them smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, like they like.
Like there'd be cigarettes hanging out of their mouth, so that's what all the smoke was.
But it's really the smoke.
Yeah, but they weren't
Mhm.
behaving like it was cigarette smoke. They were giggly. They were jazz musicians, and
There
I
was
don't know
one
if
of them that
you
would
knew.
usually laugh and it would sound like a hiss. He'd be like,
Yeah.
Oh god,
But
I picked that up.
I don't know if you knew this, but it's one of the original slang terms for joints were jazz cigarettes.
Jazz cigarettes.
They were called jazz cigarettes because jazz musicians smoked pot.
I gotta imagine like some straight-laced kid that was starting to get into the jazz scene finally like made it and hung out like
Yeah.
behind the building with all the other like
yeah.
really big jazz guys, and then he was just like, "Oh, can I bum off a cigarette?" And they're like, "Yeah, man." And they hand it to him, and he's just like, "This is not like the cigarettes I'm used to." Aw, it's okay.
No,
man.
I roll my own.
It's a jazz cigarette.
That's exactly how it was. That's 100%. And now you described the first time I ever smoked weed. So thank you.
You're
that was
welcome.
wonderful. That's exactly what happened to me back in the day when I was a lonely little trumpet player from Tennessee. I don't know where that came from. Sorry.
Yes.
Tiger Rose.
he is at least 400 years old.
Yes.
At least.
So was the Tennessee Territory. Sorry.
Oh, Surfer
I invented
Dan.
jazz. Didn't you know?
Oh,
Surfer
God.
Dan.
Tiger, is there anything you recall from the first time that you recall going, oh, there was something different about this person?
It's gonna sound cliche, but it's just Cheech and Chong.
Cheech and Chong?
Yeah.
They were very openly
Yeah.
different. That's a nice way of putting it. I love Cheech and Chong. Cheech
They're
and Chong
awesome.
they're a prime example of stoners in pop culture. They were one of the first ones to have it be really acceptable that these stoner characters, quote unquote characters, they were playing, were really just them, and all the counterculture people, all the stoners knew that it was really, they were just stoned, but all the straight-laced people thought that it was just an act. So they played places like the fucking Hollywood Bowl, and the audience would be half filled with people in shirts and ties, thinking, it's so funny. These minorities up there are pretending to be stoned and all these people are paying for it. Ah, it's great. Look at them smoke those cigarettes up there. And then there would be all the people behind them in the cheap seats, fucking high as kites going, fucking Cheech and Chong, man! So it was this great mix in culture. That's the perfect crossroads in pop culture of stonedom, that is when the first time that stoners, all these people that are like,
They are the those characters are the stereotypes, like the archetype of stoner after Up in Smoke.
Yes, 100%. That's why everybody who gives this huge stoner revolution of movies with Seth Rogen, it's fuck you, you're just copying Tommy Chong. That's all you're doing, Seth. It's no different. It's that same stoner culture.
I'm good.
Years
I'm
later.
okay with it. You're good.
Yeah,
Seth
keep doing
Rogen.
you, Seth.
Keep
We
doing
love
you,
you.
Seth.
It's fine. He's fine.
That's his lemon different.
He's fine. But yeah, it's the Cheech and Chong were the basis. Everybody,
Absolutely.
every other stoner movie after that copied Cheech and Chong just a
And
little
then the
bit.
stoner
Jay
movie
and Silent
before
Bob.
it that made everyone so afraid of stoners. Reefer Madness.
No, see, you're going way far back with Reefer Madness.
Bill
Yeah.
and Ted.
That's
Yes.
yours?
Oh, is that the first one you recall?
Yeah, that would.
Bill and
As
Ted?
a kid, Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted. There you go.
Right.
Wonderful. That's a good introduction. That is a solid introduction to stonerdom and through pop culture. I remember I rewatched Bill and Ted just recently. Bogus
too.
Journey.
It's been a couple years.
I did both.
Excellent.
As I get older, I appreciate Bogus Journey better than Excellent Adventure.
It's a superior
It's a
film,
superior
and I'm glad
film.
you noticed. So,
It's a superior.
it is, right?
But they're
it's
both amazing for their own
Yeah.
things.
But Bogus Journey is a superior film.
It is amazing.
There's more of a plot.
You took no good script back.
Station. By the way, Gus Gus and Tiger Rose, this is how every fucking episode goes. We just go and see where the day takes us. Usually Snacks has to keep us reined in because we have a strain review, so we have to actually talk about the weed. But since it's a topic, Snacks is like, I'm on vacation, bitches. So
I
she
am,
just rolled
honestly.
back.
Chuck D and Surfer Dan got this bitch
We're
on
just-
lock.
We're just...
I'm like, I'm here, I ate.
Yeah, at no point in time do Bill and Ted ever smoke weed or ever talk about
Never
smoking weed.
once.
Even at all.
No.
But we knew.
But you
We
knew.
all knew, right?
I thought they were just stupid when I was younger.
Because there's a character in pop culture, and here's the thing that I love. There's a character in pop culture, the doofus. Alright? Shaggy and Scooby are the doofus character of their group. Every pop culture needs the doofus characters. That's part of the epitome of pop culture stereotypes. But it was at a certain point, and it probably was Cheech and Chong, that we started taking the doofus and going, wait, the reason why he's a doofus
Is because he's
isn't because
high.
there's something wrong with him, because that's not something funny. We shouldn't make fun of somebody not being able to understand stuff. But now we can just say he's a doofus because
He's high.
he's high. So that's where we go from Shaggy to Cheech and Chong, to Bill and Ted, to Jay and Silent Bob, to Two Stupid Dogs. I swear, Two Stupid Dogs were both stoned. They were dogs in a stoner household, and that's why they were Two Stupid Dogs.
Cat Dog were loaded. They were the
Oh.
Taco Bell sponsors for years.
100%, yeah.
4 years.
So Snacks, you brought up Reefer Madness, because you're going
Yes.
back decades.
Oh, yeah.
But it was never pop culture at the time. When Reefer Madness existed on this planet, what's this one? Sorry, Chuck Dante, what's this one you're about?
Gelato.
Oh, this is the gelato good for insomnia. Wonderful. Okay, hold on. Let's you guys talk about Reefer Madness Snacks.
So the thing with Reefer Madness is like, even though it wasn't necessarily like the rage of the pop cult, like it wasn't the it thing in that during pop culture at that time. It did create that stereotype for someone that didn't know jack shit about stoners, and they got shown of Reefer Madness.
But that's because it was a PSA. It wasn't a movie. It wasn't fake to them. They were doing it like an after-school special. It was there to teach the lesson of who stoners were, so that way you can avoid them. It was propaganda, not
so
pop culture.
extreme.
It becomes pop culture when the stoner society, when the underground society, when all us riffraff, when we saw that years later and go, well, fuck the man, and we took it as an anthem. We took it as no, fine, we're going to show it in underground movie theaters at midnight. I watched it. In the 90s, I saw it in an underground theater in Berkeley. And it was an old film, reel to reel, so it was like falling, there was a missing frames from it. It was an experience for stoners, but when it came out, it was part of a government-sanctioned PSA propaganda machine to stop marijuana because of several reasons.
That underground place you saw that at?
Yeah.
Did it happen to be the Gilman?
It was.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I knew exactly where you were.
Yeah, no, if anybody who's the Bay Area knew, well, I could say an underground theater in Berkeley, and you pictured the front of it, right? There you go. So any listener from Berkeley, write us into 42strains@toke.com. It's a real email
It's
address.
a real.
I am a native of the Bay.
Uh,
I will be there for you.
yeah.
And I think what just infuriated me more in the sense about Reefer Madness is that we all smoke weed,
yeah.
and then to see how other people portray weed when it's, you've never smoked a day in your life.
But
how
then-
bad that some people present it on screen.
But then we turned around and turned that into that beautiful musical that is such a pro-marijuana.
I love the musical.
That musical, Reefer Madness, though, and the
Classic.
movie version, come on, Kristen Bell.
Oh, I love
Fucking
it.
adorable as hell, right? And I'm sorry, Alan Cumming, right? Adorable as hell, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, I would give my left nut for Alan Cumming. Sorry, where was I?
I hope he's listening to this.
I hope he is. He's by.
That's 42 strains at
As
Toke.com.
far as, because I never got to answer, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
The first time that I 100% recall is I remember looking at Shaggy differently. That Shaggy wasn't just a standard doofus. Because he had all of his facilities. He could walk, he could talk fine, he just talked funny. And he used the words. He used Casey Kasem, who did the voice, modeled him after beatnik poets. So it's like, all right, man, yeah, that's my Shaggy. It's not very good. Just Scoob. But yeah, he modeled it after beatnik poets. Now, one of the things that the beatnik poets were also known for was smoking marijuana behind the fucking wherever they were playing, along with a bunch of musicians. That's just how it worked. So the fact that that's how he modeled the voice, even after characters that were stoned, really comes across with Shaggy. And even as a kid, I remember watching it going, there's something off about them. Because at the same time, I'm watching Gilligan's Island, alright? And Gilligan's Island has its own doofus. That's Gilligan. But look at Gilligan and look at Shaggy and look at the fact that doofus character is different.
Yeah.
And that, even as a kid, I saw those two doofuses differently. So I knew something was different about Shaggy, and I watched them carefully. And I remember rewatching all those old Looney Tunes, Gus, with the Jazz Cats. That's why when you brought it up, I'm like, I got that. There were also some old Tex Avery, which weren't Looney Tune ones, that there was, they fall into some racist stereotypes at points, characters, but they are
But
very
even
much...
even Looney Tunes did that.
Oh, no, everybody at the time did that. I like what Whoopi Goldberg says about that instead of burying it like Disney does, Warner Brothers celebrates it by showing how far we've come in society, and this was a caption of that time. Those views are not expressed by Warner Brothers now. They do not believe in it. So they go through that, but Disney just decides to hide Song of the South still. And Barry Zippity Doodah and Alice Jr. Alice in Wonderland, the musical Junior.
Oh, God.
That's where they bury Zippity Doodah. I'm like, that's a beautiful song, and you're trying to lie and say it's not from Song of the South? Fuck you, Disney. And your racist white frozen head. Sorry. Anyway, I get passionate about Disney.
If you're interested in talking to us about any Disney conspiracy theories, that's 42 strains at
Toke.com.
Toke.com.
God damn it. Chuck, you're on it.
Or if you just want to come get really high and watch some Disney movies with us, then I'm down for
Maybe-
that too.
Slide into Snacks DMs if you're trying to get cozy and watch some Disney movies.
I am single also,
Oh!
listeners.
Jeez, we're going to have to auction off 2 dates with stoners. This will be great. Ooh, maybe we should do that.
Yeah, but
42
knowing
Strains
me,
could record
I'd
it.
cancel last minute to go take a nap.
No. All of 42 Strains would go with you as a chaperone.
Oh,
That's
God.
part of the date.
Oh,
That's part of the date.
Yes, that would be awesome.
No, but it's...
I'm 100%
No.
behind this.
No, Snacks, what are you fucking saying, Chuck? We're auctioning off a date with you, too, and we're also coming as a
Yes, I'm
chaperone.
100% down with this.
But we're not going to sit, at the table with you. We'll sit at the table next to you and just stare awkwardly watching your date. And recording it. And recording our own audio commentary
Oh,
to
God,
your
there's
date.
a whole episode of us on our date.
Yeah, no, I love it. We're doing this. Double A and Rue, when you listen to this episode, We are auctioning off dates with Snacks and Chuck Dante. This is going to be great. I'm sorry.
With how
I'm
busy
very
they are, they might miss this episode.
That's true. Where was I? Fuck, I just literally fell off my bike there on
You
my
noticed
brain.
Shaggy was different.
Shaggy was different. So that was my answer to that. So we're gonna fast forward in your life. So no longer the first time like when you were a kid. Let's fast forward to when you're a teen. So you're in your teens. For those of you that smoked when you were a teen, or when you didn't smoke when you were a teen, what's the first like experience listening to music that you realized, or somebody even told you that this artist was high?
Oh, yeah.
What was the first time in pop culture that you remember this music? Hey, dude, that what you're listening to? They're fucking high, man.
The Doors.
Did you just say The Doors?
Say that loud. Say that
The
loud.
Doors.
The
The
Doors.
Doors was the first thing you listened to?
As a teenager, I loved listening to The Doors.
What was the first song that you actually that you remember going, oh yeah, no, they were high?
I don't know. Like, I just like all their...
I think the correct answer is Break On Through. But anyway.
Maybe.
No, it basically says it in the song. So you remember listening to The Doors and did somebody tell you? Or while listening to the imagery you went, they must have
I
been
was
high.
listening to it because, like, even like with all the songs like this, the music in all their songs, it's beautiful. It's so creative that you would have to be high.
He was the Lizard King.
Fucking lizard.
He was the fucking Lizard King. No, that's all right. So that's the first for you. Chuck D, I knew you were about to answer.
Yeah.
What was it?
Sublime.
Sublime.
Santeria.
My sisters, when I was growing up, were very huge into a lot of different music. They listened to everything from the Beatles one second to I was catching them Backstreet Boys. And yeah,
I want it that way.
They introduced me to one of Sublime's greatest hits albums.
Oh, nice.
And so I got, what I got. I got Santeria.
Yep. Smoke 2 joints.
Smoked 2 joints, of course.
Yeah.
I learned about the Kung Fu Grip.
Yeah.
All those songs were on there. So that was just my first real big introduction. Later on, I just started, really just getting things pointed out to me as I would listen to music. So, of course, there's, our boy on the wall up there. Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, yeah.
All along the Watchtower, my dad used to just go, "Oh, he was blazed."
Oh, yeah.
Whenever I'd hear any song, he was blazed.
He was blazed. Yeah.
Yes, Pop. Yes, he was.
Snacks? Gus? Either one of you?
I thought it was The Doors for a second, but no. I'm trying to remember the name of the band. I can think of the song and the chords.
Go for it.
There is a house.
House of the Rising Sun.
Eric Burden and the Animals.
Yeah.
I heard that. And it was just that moment when you finally pay attention to an
now
entire
I'm second
song.
guessing myself and
It's
really
the
want to look it up.
Animals. I'm almost certain.
I want to say it's Eric Burden and the Animals.
I
The
don't-
Animals solo was a different act later.
I don't know what it was. It's just I've heard that song so many times because my dad raised all of us still listening to classic rock, and so we grew up on
I
that.
apologize. Listed only as the Animals.
Thank
The
you.
Animals.
You are correct. It must have been after it was Eric Burden and the Animals.
Senility sneaks up on you quick, don't it, Super Dan?
Sorry about that. I have absolutely no problem admitting when I am wrong. They were no longer called Eric Burden and the Animals at the time, but Eric Burden was still the lead at the time.
I would just like to point
Sorry
out
about
that
that.
Surfer Dan is wearing It's All Good in the Hood, Mr. Rogers t-shirt right
Fuck
now.
yes, I am.
So,
And I
continue.
walked in looking homeless. So,
Continue.
yes. So, House of the Rising Sun for you.
I'm trying to remember how old I was. I heard it I'd heard it plenty of times. Car rides, on trips to go see family and everything, taking us to school. I want to say I was maybe 10 or 11, and I didn't understand what high was.
Yeah.
Or what drugs were. And I listened to the song, and I want to say I was with my mom, and I was like, why don't I've never heard a song like this. How come all the songs that Dad plays, this one's completely different? My mom looked at me and she literally giggled a little bit. She's like, because they were high all the time.
Ah,
I was like, what?
there we go.
What's that?
Gus, do you remember?
I didn't think about it a lot when I was younger. I just
Well, you did say that since you're a newer smoker.
it wasn't on my radar.
Yeah.
But I remember that I would have friends who would say like, oh, like there's definitely drugs involved when talking about like or when listening to like Pink Floyd or I believe that like Dark Side definitely, should be listened to on drugs. It's
Yes, while watching Wizard of Oz. I think we all know
it's
that.
beautiful.
You don't
Think
know
so?
this?
It's amazing.
Oh, we'll talk about this next.
Whoa! That was a cool moment of pop culture there that we're going to get to introduce you to after we get off the air. That's pretty cool.
All right.
Yeah, I think definitely.
So it might have been Pink Floyd or Dark Side.
Yeah.
That was. So Gus, so it's Dark Side or Pink Floyd. That's the first time that you remember. Nice. That's a great. Dark Side of the Moon's a good. I think that ranks right up there with House of the Rising Sun, with Sublime, with.
These are all things that I've heard.
Yeah.
Also, everything that has been mentioned so far, and I'm just like, yes.
Yeah.
At different points in different people's lives, different generations of music will have that same realization, and we're getting someone younger than both of us talking about a song older than both of us.
Oh, easily. Yeah.
and that's
amazing.
just amazing.
No, I love
two
it.
of them.
But I mean, stoner culture, though, I think is timeless. I think that the same things that the stoners liked in the 90s, I think all that happens is every decade adds their stoners with them. So after in the 90s, Sublime was brand new, but we still had our Doors, our Pink Floyd. We still had them.
You still had women.
And then there was,
And then now, later on down the
Right.
road, somebody else got Sublime along with, and then 311, and all these other just pull into the culture. It just happens that way. Until you get into the early 90s where hip hop and it became like Snoop and everybody became the norm, and all of them are just smoking blunts non-stop in every interview and every video, and it's suddenly, oh, well, that's normal now. Each culture brings its on. Thankfully, I think stoner culture, more so than the rest of pop culture, I think in general, I think stoner culture always respects its elders.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like we didn't try and erase, but every generation in comedy, they want to erase the old comedy. They want to just hold on to their new stuff, and that's it. Same thing with new movies. I know people in your guys' age bracket that refuse to watch black and white films.
What?
Because why? That was made before we knew how to make movies, is what they were thinking, before the technology was good enough to make movies. So, it just happens that way, that a lot of other cultures steal but don't respect it. I think stoner culture holds on. I think that's why you guys were still listening to Pink Floyd and the Doors, because stoners just pass it on.
Dude, Riders on the Storm High is pretty wonderful.
Fuck yes, it is. For me, I was looking
LA
at
Women.
Oh.
LA Woman just
LA
was
Woman.
fantastic.
Show me the way to the next whiskey bar.
Easy.
While high as a fucking kite.
Ding,
Oh, you
ding,
feel
ding,
that.
ding,
Mhm. For me, I had a double cassette. I remember this vividly. The Beatles' Past Masters.
I have that on vinyl.
Volume 1 was their early stuff. She loves you, yeah, yeah. I wanna hold your hand. All of that, alright? The bopping along.
With Surfer Dan.
Past Masters Volume 2, however, there was a change. There was a difference. Right about the Revolver album. You know, right about when they met Bob Dylan. There's a difference. And you feel it in your core when you're listening to the Beatles. And I was lucky enough that instead of just having it come along, when I got it, I could listen to it straight through. Where I had the earliest stuff, and then as soon as I got to the end of that cassette and popped in the next one, you saw that change happening. You felt it happening. So that was that moment that I was like, wait, what happened? And I was a curious young lad. So I looked it up, and I just found out what was happening. I just searched to see what was going on in the Beatles' lives at that time. And you see through the photos, too, the mop top is gone. The clean face is gone. It is beards. It is mustaches. It is mutton chops. It is
men.
long hair. No more matching suits. And it is, oh, well, what happened here? And the answer was counterculture. Stoner culture is just counterculture. We've had it since the early 50s with beatniks, and it just kept going. And that's what I love about it. You can, in stoner culture today, you can trace it back and you can feel the beat heart, literally, of the fact that the stoner culture has accepted the beatnik poetry going into the acid rock, going into of Pink Floyd, going into all the way down to Sublime. All of it's the same, and it's part of us. And they always talk about this ether of creativity out there, and everybody taps into it at some point in time. And it clearly is out there because these people all tapped into it. You notice the one thing they all had in common was the counterculture of marijuana. It's Jimi Hendrix, Janis, Cheech and Chong. No matter George Carlin, Robin Williams.
Yes.
You were reading Chuck Dante. Before we went on the air, you said Justin Timberlake. You said that. So all of these people.
Yeah, Justin Timberlake particularly was. He had a statement in was it 2012. He said that he just pretty much probably has and always has been about marijuana, and he just needs it to shut his mind off sometimes. But he has a creative mind that works really hard, and just every once in a while he needs something to click it down, and that's what it does for him.
See, you have genres like you can't look at the Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, The Doors, Justin Timberlake, Snoop Dogg, Willie Nelson, and say that Toby Keith, Bob Marley, they're not all in the same genre by a long shot. Beethoven, by a long, Justin Bieber, they're not in the same genre by a long shot. However, they've all tapped into this ether somewhere through marijuana. I mean, there's a song out there with Willie Nelson and Snoop Dogg doing a song together. And those are two people that should have nothing in common, but have a common ground right away. And that's what I love about the counterculture movement and the stoner culture throughout the hidden subsets of pop culture. We do that. How are we on time there, Snacks? I don't have a time.
We're at 50 minutes.
We're at 50
Yeah,
minutes?
50.
Oh, okay. Well, then we should be wrapping up.
I would like to just do one shout out real quick.
Give us a shout out.
I'm gonna shout out Canabox. They're a subscription service that can deliver the best pop culture 420 gear to your door. You can find them at canabox.com/support. They'll help you out there and get you directed to what you need. They recently started following me on Twitter. You guys should too.
Yes. I heart Chuckabees. Chuckabee or Chuckabees?
It's Chuckabee.
Chuckabee, that's
Singular.
right.
I am the one.
You are the one. It's true.
And
There can
I
only
am the
be
one
one.
you heart.
I'm going to give a shout out here. Just a reminder, former guest, by the time you listen to this, you would have already heard their episode as well. Just amazing, amazing man. ASL 4 Prop 215 Patience. So ASL FOR Prop 215 Patience. Amazing sign language interpreter. Follow him on Instagram at that name.
We love you.
Just a great dude. Was on an episode. If either one of you, Gus or Tiger Rose, are on Instagram, follow, because cool dude, sign language interpreter, and every day on Instagram he'll post he'll take a couple of dabs and he'll do a song that he'll sign for you. and it's always a blast to watch because he's one of these.
So much fun.
He is the most solid interpreter I've ever seen that feels the music while they're doing it, and he even said that the weed helps feel the music. So, wrapping it all the way around. Any shout-outs for anybody as far as maybe where you, because Gus and Tiger Rose, you brought the weed. Would you like to say where you got the weed from? No? Don't care? Alright, perfect. Maybe that is So, that's, gonna be it. We're gonna have to wrap that shit up there.
I feel like we'll come back to this at some point.
I think it's a
we
good
barely
topic.
just scratched the surface.
We did, but we got into some good, solid talk about Doors and Beatles and Bill and Ted and Looney Tunes. I think we tapped well into that. Well, we'll just come back. So I want to thank you, Tiger Rose, Tiger with a Y, Rose, and Gus for joining us today. Thank you very much. Would you like to say anything?
Thank you for having me here today.
Or speak up, we can't hear you.
Thank you for having me here today. Sorry, I'm usually a really, really quiet person.
We appreciate you speaking up
Yeah,
for
we're happy
us.
you're here.
Gus, it's been a pleasure having you.
Great time.
Good time.
Both of you, please come back on, especially for a strain review, because I think you'd like the format that way too. It's fun because then we get to really talk into. I'd love to talk more about your ice cream cake because that was a fascinating strain. That is, I like the taste a lot, and it was like a punch to the head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a punch to the head. That was not just a slow crawl. So I dig that strain, and I've never had that before. So I'd love to have that. A review at some point. Are you okay over there? You're just floating butterflies, check. I'm trying to remember how we wrap this up. So I guess we'll just end it by the way that we're supposed to end it. So until next time, guys, stay high, stay golden,
and smoke with your
soon.
soon.
Yeah, that's